finding missing angles really depends on knowing angle facts. For example, we know that x and 125 are supplementary angles. That's a straight line. So we can find x. We'll write it out like this first of all. This is the fact that we know. We know that 125 plus x equals 180 degrees. And the reason we know that is because it's a straight line. So that means that if I take 125 from both sides of this equation, I actually find what x is. Of course here, 125 minus 125 means we've got x on our own because that gives us 0. So x is equal to 180 minus 125, which is 55 degrees. So there's our solution. Now, some of these look fairly complicated, but in reality, they're not. If we look at 60 and x and 70, once again, we can see that these are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So let's write this out. X plus 60 plus 70 equals 180 degrees. Let's put our degree signs up here. So what we'll do is we'll combine these together. We'll add 60 and we'll add 70 and we get 130. And you can see that by subtracting 130 from 180, we get our solution. So to keep the equation balanced, we need to make sure we do the subtraction on both sides. So we end up with x on its own because 130 minus 130 gives us 0. So we've got x on its own on this side. And 180 minus 130 is 50 degrees. So the size of x is 50 degrees. What about this one here? Well, it seems complicated, but it's really not. Now let's have a look, for example, at z. Z is part of a straight line. So z plus 40, they're supplementary angles. So let's write this out up here. So z plus 40 is equal to 180 degrees. So if we subtract 40 from both sides, 180 take away 40, we end up with z being now 180 take away 40 is 140 degrees. Now, if that's the case, we can work other angles out as well, but look, here's something we can work out. Look at 40 degrees and look at y. They're vertically opposite angles. So we can say that y is equal to 40 degrees. And if we were to give a reason, we would say they are vertically opposite. And using that information, we can find out what x must be, because these are supplementary. So x plus 50 plus y is equal to 180 degrees. But we already have found that y is equal to 40 degrees, so we can replace y with 40 degrees. That means we've got x plus 90 equals 180 degrees, which means that x must be a 90 degree angle. It does look like a 90 degree, but remember, we can't just go by what it looks like, we have to show it, and we have shown it so that in fact x is a right angle.